right, welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight, joined once again by Mr. 40 Time. What's happening tonight, Dustin?
Oh, just trying to recover from racing for 2 weeks in a row. I'm a little tender. Finally not sick, so that's nice.
Yeah, you sounding almost better. Almost.
Well, my voice is wrecked because I talked to 500 people probably this weekend, but I'm not
I don't
sick,
think there was
so.
a time that I came by that you weren't talking to somebody.
Yeah, Tamara got to visualize that this weekend firsthand. She was like, man, like every time one leaves, the other one pulls up. I'm like, yeah, that's just kind of part of it, you know.
That's working, man. You working
Yeah,
hard.
digging up parts, trying to make sure I got just I feel like I'm always don't have something every weekend. It's hard to try to keep everything, especially when you go back to back races and sell stuff and can't get it back in 2 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's a battle.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we pretty much do these on Tuesdays because I was still completely. I should feel like I shouldn't even complain, because I know how far you got to drive and a lot of other people. But man, I was still freaking beat on Monday. I was a mess yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I got home at 2 a.m. Monday morning. Probably went to sleep about 3, and I was up at 6:30 going through a bajillion messages and emails and stuff that I missed for 4 days. So
right.
Tamara slept on the way home a little bit, and truck driver, I don't know what his deal was. I passed him, and then he threw his high beams on, and I got in the slow lane, and then he passed me, and then like a half mile up the road, he was going 65, and I passed him back. I wish I had a big push bumper on my motorhome. I'd have just shoved him out of the way. Idiot.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. I was like, why are you like? Why? You're going 65. Like, get out the way. Don't flash your lights at me. But I don't know. Maybe he just been driving all day and just had enough. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, as per usual, NSFW, not safe for work. We'll try not to be too pirate-ish tonight. But I don't know. I might get excited, so we'll see. Shout out to our awesome sponsors. Couldn't do it without them, and certainly couldn't do it without y'all, the listeners. So appreciate everybody supporting and everybody on the Patron and just subscribing on the website. So we're real close to the big 10,000 download giveaway. I'd say about 2 more episodes. We'll be there.
Yeah, so. I got to give Harvey his seat pen this weekend. Finally, that was nice to get that off my conscience.
Yeah, that was our first semi big giveaway, but that's not to diminish the other giveaways from Schnitz and MPS and MTC. We appreciate all those. And tonight we're going to do a $50 or a $50 gift certificate giveaway from MPS. Look, I'm stumbling. I don't even have a drink yet.
Get your head out your ass.
I know, right? We did NSFW, so we're good. So shout out.
I don't care.
Yeah. Shout out to the sponsors. Mike Burkhart, BMF Motorsports, had his new ride looking right this weekend. If y'all haven't checked that out, visit his Facebook page and see the wicked ride.
Yeah, it looked good. He needs some of them Simpson, like the white camo shoes like Spencer got to match that thing. You can buy those from Hard Times Parts and Service.
There you go. There we go. Plug from Mike to get some new shoes.
Yeah. I know he'll be listening.
Yeah. That thing was sick though. It really was.
There was a lot of new bikes. I mean, we'll talk about that after we get through our duties here.
I'll try to remember to post Mike's ride, sponsor on the page for everybody to see. It was sweet. Of course, our little baby, University of Win, had some winners this weekend. We'll get to that.
Dang, we did.
Yep. Shout out Val and Energy Coil, Night Marketing Group. That's me and my crew. Dustin and Hard Times Parts and Service. He was slinging parts all weekend.
They wore me out. Sold a lot of shirts, man, like that. Tamara did that. She hung the shirts up, people seen them. Holy cow. Like I was like, man, like if I just wasn't so busy when I was by myself, I can't do that, But she done really good. All right, she probably kept the money. Who knows?
Hey, if she was selling them, More power to her.
Yeah, yeah.
Montgomery Motorsports, can't forget them. Kevin and Manchester Mines, he was not at the race this weekend. But I know he did pretty decent up at Bison Valley, I think. So I think he was in the semifinals I seen. So shout out to Kevin. Schnitz Racing, had a big old crew of Schnitz boys running around. It's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
think it was Carson, Trevor, Ryan, and a couple more. I'm
I
sorry, I
think
can't
I
keep up
think
with all
Carson
y'all's.
was riding the white jigsaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? There was one pass boy. He was all up on the wall because they, Ryan put him out there because the track's better, and then it went to the right. And I was like, oh Lord, but
Well, that sounds
he's
like what
gonna,
I'm going to talk about in a bit.
yeah, he's creating some more racers, man. Like I
That's
seen
right.
Trevor went. I'm at a very active parking spot at Virginia, and it's very entertaining. And there's Trevor went by. I couldn't tell you how many times. Like he was making laps, real street. There was a Gen 3. I think there was another boost. I don't know. He was riding a lot of stuff. Turbo bike. He was on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's in it. He's in it. That was cool to see all them. Mr. Ralphie and Platinum General Services, he was racing this past weekend, supporting
That's my
everybody too.
that's my neighbors.
Yep.
My kid
Yep.
played with Cuzzo and Liberty, Shane Stubbs' daughter. Basically, Harper played with. They done the RV hopping pretty much for 4 days, and they
Oh,
had a
100%. I
great
barely
time.
seen any. Actually, I didn't see Liberty once. I
Yeah, she
saw
was either
Harper
in my
once.
motorhome or in Shane's.
Well, I seen Harper once when I came in and forced a hello. You were actually sleeping. um,
Trying to take a
and
power nap. Everybody kept moving my motorhome
I
around, woke
know
me up.
I was quiet when I got in there. And then Kuzo, I seen him like 3 or 4 times. So yeah.
Yeah.
Got to say hi to Mr. Eric at MTC Engineering. They were there. That was their race, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, their
Yep.
title
Title
sponsor.
sponsor.
Good to catch up with Eric a little bit. Dustin Penske Racing Shock, shout out to them, keeping us hooked up.
I
Uh,
missed them this weekend. They were Formula One stuff, I think, this
yeah.
weekend.
We got Dan and Beth and MPS Racing, and last but not least, Mr. Dave Conforti and Worldwide Bearings. I've seen a lot of the new Worldwide Bearing shirts. Heck, I was wearing
Yeah.
mine, I think, on Friday,
Yep. Yeah.
making everybody hungry.
Yeah, the Waffle House thing. That's all I need to see. Fat
I
man be looking
know.
at that every time he turns around.
Oh
Like,
man,
oh,
I was like Waffle House, Waffle House. That was all on my mind. That's the whole
yeah.
weekend. Um, so thank you to all these awesome companies. If you're not using them, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. So we only rock with the best. So appreciate the support. Um, where you want to start, Dustin? This is basically going
Let's
to
talk.
be
Let me
XDA.
talk about how much I sucked. Well, yeah, we can do that. I can. I
Let's
can.
start there because that's rare, and this might be the only episode this happens this year. So
It was all me, man. I mean, you know it. It. I don't know.
we're not perfect. That's the thing, though. We're not perfect. We strive to be perfect. I was thinking about this earlier, right? Like what are you most frustrated with when racing? Are you more frustrated when the bike lets you down, the track lets you down, or when you let yourself down?
Absolutely, when the bike or the track or some BS happens, it's not my fault.
Right.
If it's
Yeah.
my fault, I handle it just fine because that's
Right.
just racing. But when there's things that happen where maybe the bike malfunctions, or one of my stories is the person in front of me was a slow roller and it took forever to get him off the track, which is still my fault because I didn't do a second burnout and I knocked the tire off. But
That was top sportsman round one.
yeah, round one, man, like I go up there feeling good. Um, the bad part of this is I'll get to it is so I was ready. I, done my burnout. The person, in an XDA, we start our burnout before they leave. I come up behind him. He left. Big Willie set it down. Got probably, I don't know, 500 foot and pulled the wall. Time my scooter got him and got him off the track. It might have been a couple minutes, I guess. And
Right.
to be honest, I was thinking, my stuff normally don't spin. I just now done a burnout. XDA track prep should be fine. I mean, I couldn't even
Mhm.
move it forward when I went to move finally. And but I think what happened was my front tire probably pulled up a little bit of rubber because it
Right.
sit there so long. And then when my back tire got to it, That was it. Like it just, I couldn't even get the wheel speed down quick enough to try to get back on it and grab all the stages and try to make anything of it. I mean, I did eventually, but it was realistically a waste.
Yeah.
The really upsetting part was when I went to Pro ET. The dial in that I stuck on there with no time run Sunday morning, 10 degrees cooler than it was the previous days, was spot on. And that hurt, because I was ready. I'd done everything I'm supposed to do. And then, I might not do my burnouts for now until they leave. They can just wave at me and whatever they want to do. Just because that instance right there. So if I didn't start my burnout and he done that, I would have just sit there. And if I backed up and done another burnout because he was a slow roller, it would have took the same amount of time. So
Yeah.
it's my fault.
Yeah, I mean that happens. It stinks though. I hate that did happen.
Yeah, but do you? Do you?
Yeah,
do you really wish I was? Because who knows what would have happened? I would have went red. That's what I done. That's what would have happened.
Yeah. Well, you said it, not me. I ain't never gonna wish that on my boys.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll put it like this though. I mean, like I don't know what side were you on, the top or the bottom? Remember?
I do not.
I got to race with a good buddy in the final. I mean,
yeah.
Could have been you, I guess. I don't know, or maybe you could have raced our good buddy in the final.
Yeah, you raced Squirrel in the final. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's for me. I mean, the guy I raced was 008. I was 30. Was I ineligible? No, but
no.
A lot of things could have happened. He was guessing on his dial in just like I was because the temperature swing. He was way out of it, of course, because I was almost a second off my dial in because it blew the tire off. But who knows what would have happened? But
right.
Realistically, I still kindly blame myself because I did say, "Hey, you gonna do that burnout?" And I didn't. I should have just backed up and done one. And
well, I mean, you're not alone. Honestly, I've been there in similar situations, and I'm trying to think like if I've backed up to do a burnout, it's been rare. And I'll put it like this. Temperature wise and how things were going that weekend, like I probably would have done the same thing as you. I just would have staged the bike.
I could have probably I could have probably just backed up and went to the right of where I was, and it probably would have been fine. But
right,
the next round in Pro ET, I thought I maybe felt it walk the tire when it left, but it didn't spin. So after that, I hadn't, I checked my tire and I dropped it like a half pound and it was stuck every pass. I mean, from then on, we can start with my nemesis, which is the Gamblers race.
Man, I had high hopes because they, what was it? They didn't finish it.
Well, it wasn't even nothing to do with today. It's just a race. So
I know, but I had high hopes when they moved it to Saturday.
I was having motorcycle issues shifting, and I wanted to try something. So we actually get there Thursday to do the high roller big boy test session. I was going to pay $250 to test to make sure the auto shift setup was going to work, and that didn't happen because we had this weird misting rain.
Which, by the way, was wild. Like, I know I didn't. Obviously, I was dealing with stuff and didn't keep up with y'all much on Thursday, Friday. But, dude, when I found out like whatever the whole day was trashed, like I'm only 2 hours away from there, and it was beautiful over here. I was completely confused.
Yeah. So Friday morning, we all get ready and there was timing issues for 2 hours. The scooters probably still made more laps than anybody at the track testing the timing system this weekend. And I actually walked up there and asked them if they bought their testing tune stick tech card because they're making a lot of passes, and they thought that was funny. But anyway, we finally got started, and I said, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to spray this thing and make sure it shifts spraying because that was the issue I had at Steel. And it worked. I was 030 on the tree, plug second, grabbed nitrous, shifted to third, sweet, let off the nitrous, fourth, fifth, done. Really impressed me that the bike went like 540, 542, 135 or 4, which to the eighth, and 850 and a quarter, which is ridiculous. I never spray that bike much. So I've never I've not done it in years, really like that, to see what it would run, and it really only got like realistically like a full gear, of nitrous. So that was kind of cool. And then I made a test pass after that, and I was 0-2 on the tree. I'm like, bro, like I'm in the zone. I'm doing everything exactly where I want to be, 30 or better. We got a qualifier. I think I was 0-2 again. First round, I think I was 0-19 or 0-1 something. First round of the gamblers. And then second round, I think. So we run first round. Let me get to that. We had this trifecta of all down, time delay, yada yada. Whatever happens, everybody's fault type deal. And we couldn't finish the gambler, so we had to do the rest of it Saturday morning. And I go up for round 2 Saturday morning. I'm 27, I think, on the tree, and won that round. I'm like, bro, like I'm just in. I felt great. I felt like, finally I'm going to get this monkey off my back. And third round, the magic round, 004 red. So, it is what it is. You know, I need to probably maybe lay off the tree because I look at the results and I see these guys going a
Just
long
say me.
way.
Just say me.
Well,
You can
you
say
are
me.
one of them, but you did get your life right in a couple of the races, like in the later rounds, like the last 2 in the bracket bash. You kind of had you figured out what to do with your life.
Well,
Um,
hey, Ash, what did I tell you at the first XDA and you did really well? I said maybe you should just turn it green.
yeah, but man, that just ain't my style. Like it's just not. So anyway, that's what I go up there and I'm after blood every lick. Like I
For
don't
sure.
care if it's a brand new racer beside me, i.e., I hope he's listening. Bill Maturo's son, Alex, brand new racer. I kicked it red on him in the bracket bash first round. And here we go. Like, okay. So I went red bracket bash first round. It is what it is. I'll do reentries, try to get back in there. I sit around for like 4 or 5 hours in my leathers, just hanging out with my wife, waiting for the bracket bash. They run the pro sessions, and it's a long period. It takes forever to do that stuff, and then they basically end up nixing the reentry, and that's when I had to go take a nap because I was not happy, and I went in the camper. I loaded up everything except the box, and went in there and laid down and tried to like sleep off my anger before I made an ass of myself. And I mean, I know things happen, old downs happen, and this and that, but
They were
they
bad
should.
Saturday, dude.
Yeah. And what's bad is I also seen a picture. I think it was of Rodney, Pro Street. I mean, there was smoke and oil flowing out of his bike, and I was like, the diapers was not working. That's I don't know what diaper he's got, but that thing was flowing. Like, oh, you could see it flowing. I was like, oh my Lanta. And I remember that pass because there was so much smoke that it literally carried over to the pits. Like the stream of smoke just kind of blowed to the left and was like it looked like it was foggy. It was crazy. But yeah, there was a lot of issues. I don't really understand why there's so many of them, and it's because
I
of
mean, I
course,
don't.
like
I mean, so the diapers help, right? But there's
yeah,
certain
yeah,
circumstances, like you said, that like it wouldn't have mattered what you had on, like probably windowed the block and all kinds of crazy shit. But yeah, like
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was weird because I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like usually it's the first and last race where it's like cooler weather where you're really getting stuff just grenading.
I don't really understand why there's so many old downs. I mean, yeah, I don't. We don't know when something's gonna fail, but damn, man, maybe it's because I spend so much time looking my stuff over to prevent that kind of issue or any kind of leak or whatever, and it kind of just shocks me that nobody else does what I do, and
There's very few that do what you do.
it's frustrating, because at the end of the day, when time gets hurt like that and we have issues, realistically, it just hurts us. Like we lose some time, like somebody's got to get sacrificed or something's got to get sacrificed. And in this case, it was the reentries. Um,
Yeah,
Now,
which is a
now
tough
saying
decision for them
that,
too. You know.
yeah. Oh, it is a tough decision, but I mean, I guess I'm just going to say it like, the pros got a fourth qualifier. And yeah, I know it's a points classes and the bracket bash isn't. But what would it took to run a reentry? Probably $50. I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. Maybe it just wasn't logical. But and the PM curfew period. There's no squeezing by a few minutes or whatever. Like that's just it.
Yeah, that is a tough part down there. They are pretty tight on that curfew, whereas hell, Maryland, yeah, I
Yeah,
swear
I
we've
mean,
raced till like 2, 3 in the morning there before.
I think they have a time recommended like 1 a.m. or something, but we've been through that.
I think Royce has some pull.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
yeah.
say it.
Yeah, or maybe maybe the track just says they have that to not work their workers to death and they have to be back the next morning or something. And I get it. There's no reason to if it's a Sunday night and then people have to go to their regular job or another job at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. the next morning. You can't keep your workers, there till 2. They're not going to work no more. So I get that too. That's just kind of part of it. But anyway, I just said, hey, Mr. Sunday, typical me. Maybe I'll just show up to race on Sunday, and I really did. Other than the spinning thing wasn't really. I don't want to say it was just, it's racing, and I fell
Right.
over to Pro ET, and for the most part, man, like I lost first round. I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, first round, I was just, oh yeah, I raced a little CBR. I raced
You raced
McAllister.
Mike. Yeah, Mike's a
Yeah,
bad dude.
he just put one on me, right? So he was 004 and I was 62. I tried to be Ben one round and it didn't work out for me.
Man, hold on. I don't think I told you this. Like, I heard them call you up or whatever. I think. What was it though? You said it was first round?
Yeah, first round of Pro ET. Yeah.
What did I just sorry, I clicked on something different then. My bad.
Yeah, but he was 004 and I was 062, and my little buddy here on this podcast with me, he can 06 all the way to the final, but I can't do that. Never. This is why I red light because no mercy. Anyway, so I had to do re-entries and I can't remember what I done the re-entries. I think I was like 03 or something. And I won that. And then I come back for round 2 of Pro ET and I was Dustin. I was 006. Racing Tom Donald. He didn't. Oh, I know what happened. So I looked over at his bike, and we were like about to do a burnout. I was like, dang, his bottle valve's close to the racetrack. And he didn't leave. Like he left, but it didn't go because I'm 90% sure the bottle hit the racetrack and blowed the tire off. And
Really?
yeah, I had one of them Ben permunition things. And he was
Those are
092.
real. Those are real.
Yeah. And I was 006, which was, I'll come back like, fuck, here I go. I'm on a freaking red light. And round 3, I was 028. Yay. Racing Mark Schwalm, who I blow the tire off on first round top sportsman. And his bike sounded weird when we were staging, like it didn't sound right. And it left, and he was way out there, of course, because it's a bar bike and it didn't shift. And I drove around him, and that was a fairly easy round, even though I was 02. So I felt like if I could pay to have 02 lights every time, I would take it. And this one may be.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. I don't know if you necessarily need that. And then round 4, I'm 04 and he's 05. And I remember this round specifically because I was racing Crawford and the bike leaves and, I'm changing gears, looking at him. And when you're chasing somebody down, when they run 9-0 dial and I'm 780s, you can't be impatient. You can't, oh God, and grab the override early. You got to let the bike do its thing and see where you're at. I mean, I guess I could grab it early, but I just kept telling myself to be patient, be patient. And we get about 1,000 foot and I'm like, hey man, like, I don't know if I'm going to get there. And about 1,200 foot, I snatched override and he lifted, and I went. I think I rolled out a little bit, and I was like 0-1 stripe or whatever, and won that round. Um, and then we get down to the round 5, and there's 11 bikes, I think, and my buddy Boyd
Yep.
Matthias, he had an airline blow, and we were in the front of the line. I said, "Hey man, just fix it. I'll wait on you." So they sent everybody around us. And Boyd's a great friend of mine, and actually, he's got huge hard times decals on his bike too. So he's representing. He's awesome person, and they got it fixed, and we go up there, and I really didn't think nothing of anything, and I just 008 red. Um, I just live by the tree, die by the tree. Like I wasn't even upset because 00 red ain't bad. Like you know what I mean? Like that's just 8 thou from being perfect. And
No, I mean
you,
double O. I'm not mad about it. Just and
I
you did a
wasn't,
lot.
I wasn't upset about either one of the 00 reds. Um, just because that's just how I am. Like I'm trying to be the best I can be every lap, and
Mm-hmm.
that happens when you're living that way. And the only time I was upset this weekend is when the bike blew the tire off. A little bit upset that we didn't have a reentry, but it was a non-points class, and I get it. And then in 560, the polar opposite. Um, I had a couple weird rounds. Like first round, the guy left before the tree activated, and somehow I was still like 0-2 on the tree that round, which I don't know how, because I felt like it like stunned me when he left. I was 0-3. I just now looked at the results. I was 0-3. And I had a 558 motorcycle pretty much. Just that's my bike actually wheelied first round, and I had to pedal it, and I didn't do anything because he done left before the tree fell. Then second round, the same exact daggum thing happened. He left before. I was racing Kyle, freaking
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, and Kyle. And what really got me was he went deep. I wasn't deep. And I remember seeing him like rolling. I'm like, Kyle, what are you doing? And he just rolled straight through him, like out. And I was dead late. So it kind of messed me up because I didn't know where I was at. Um,
Well, look, I'll tell you 100%. And I did go look. I would have bet money that auto start wasn't on. It says it was on for that round, but I same thing. Like, dude, like the tree was held forever.
yeah.
I don't understand it because auto start is zero point 0.8 to 1.2. I mean, that's 4/10 of a second. That's not a lot of variance. Like if just because I
Yeah.
mean, now I entered 560 just to enter it because the bike was close on, Saturday and then it was too fast on Sunday. And man, when I staged, I was racing Kevin White. I staged, he staged, right? Then I went deep, then he went deep, and then the tree still hadn't dropped. I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on? So, dude, I was stunned. I was dead late, like a
Well, when
hundred and
when
some.
Kyle went through, it like blew me away, and the tree dropped. I was dead late. I was like 0.14 on the tree. Yeah, and so come back from third round, and I'm a very calm racer, and that might be a problem. I probably ought to start firing myself up, punch myself in the helmet or something to make myself angry or whatever. But I was 0-9. John Ray was 0-1, and they were. I mean, I rolled out of it, but still went like a 56. But he was gone. Like I knew when we left that he just treated the crap out of me, and that was pretty much my weekend in a nutshell. Like it was a spin loss, a nappy loss, and 00 red light losses. So I'm not upset at myself. I am punishing myself. I'll probably go local track, like I said, this weekend, and maybe try to just work on me.
Mm-hmm.
Just make some laps. But the the bike's done great. They still run. I haven't got to unload them yet because I've been extremely busy playing catch up from the week of sick and 2 weeks of racing back to back. I've had a lot of people ask me if I was coming in HRO. I'm like, no, I can't. 3 in a row. I didn't go to Rockingham because I didn't want to do 3 in a row. So that would have been 4 in a row. And I don't know why everybody expects me. I mean, I guess because I do miss my NHRO people, but nobody else runs all of these. I'm kind of like the only one that does it anymore. And I run around all over the place, and I feel like I do all I can, but I never feel like it's enough. But
Mhm.
I am I'm gonna go play around and mess with the Trunchbull. I dropped it off to the dyno today. He's gonna tune it Thursday, hopefully. Try to pick it back up. Just a good solid C12 tune, target about 12.8 air fuel ratio and a little 40 shot. And hopefully it don't blow the hell up. Cost me some more work. And now we get to talk about the Ben IF and Win Knight came back. We've missed him for this whole year. We lost him over the winter, and he has
I once
found
was lost, I am
himself.
now found.
Yeah, yeah. He's. I think Ben was Dustin Lee this weekend. I think we just changed roles from the first race from XDA. Basically, you struggled
Um,
and I didn't, and this time you didn't and I did.
and we did swap. I guess probably ought to start off with 460. It was a lackluster debut. Shout out to everybody in 460. That class is hard as shit. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like everybody had a tremendous amount of trying to think what it was. Like faith in me, I guess. Like everybody acts like it was just gonna be
Well,
no big deal.
I'm your friend, and I'm very honest with you, and I did not
You did
have.
not. Yeah, you were one that was realistic. And I felt like I was realistic with it, you know. And anyways, some of y'all know I'm there Thursdays almost all the time. But anyways, because of our family stuff and I didn't get there till Friday evening. But my better half, she said we're going racing. So I said, "Okay, let's do it then." So she wanted to come, so we had everything loaded up and came down. Got there in time to make Q1, talk with Mac and them, and he said no better time than now. So we got on it. Mac had made, I think, one pass that day. Yeah, because they didn't
Yeah,
get hardly anything in.
I didn't see it, but I heard them announce it.
Um, I mean, here's the thing. Look, I've ridden a couple bar bikes. One of them was, yours, Dustin's, or your Uncle Frank's.
Small tire.
Small tire. Then I rode Marion's small tire for like a year. Then I had my Marion FBR chassis big tire for a year, but I mean, I don't feel like that's even comparable. I mean, that was a top gas bike that,
And not all the time. I think you just done that
right.
once or
Yeah.
twice. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
normally it
raced it
run
a couple times.
560.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a super comp bike, but I mean, I could run top gas on it and I did a couple times, but it's just a whole different ball game. And it's been like, well, dude, it's been a couple of years. I'm probably thinking like what, 5 years since I've really ridden a bar bike. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so it's hard, man. I got a bunch of habits from street bike racing that I gotta kind of get used to. I mean, so I knew that the bike was trying to go right some. That was that was not a surprise. Mac and them, told me like, "Hey, we're still trying to get everything figured out. And it's up to me to ride it." So I was like, "Yeah, let's try it." So went up there and then I didn't realize at night but man, it's at night your perception is different. And I'll say that especially when you're heading towards the wall. So um I
The biggest
left.
thing on a car tire bar bike that lives on the wheelie bars and they leave, it's got power, is you gotta be, your body has to be square. Like you can't be loose. That's the only
Right.
thing that I can remember from all the times because I've rode a lot of them. I rode the one
Mhm.
Boost 460 bike when my dad had it, and then I had a Pro Stock chassis that was pretty fast with me on it. And the biggest thing is keeping legs stiff, everything square. Drive with your foot pegs. If you do lean, you just hang your upper body off. Try to keep the bike square always.
Mhm.
That's my biggest advice for you because when it did go right, you were just trying to like street bike it over, and it did not. It wanted to wash out and all that stuff. It just wasn't. It wasn't ideal.
Yeah, I mean, so basically I was anxious and nervous for sure because I mean, I'm riding somebody's bike and I'm riding a bike that can pretty much go faster than I've ever been. Faster, quicker. Well, probably quicker, not faster.
Yeah.
But anyways, and obviously Max shit is, meticulously maintain paint and everything.
Yeah,
So
when
like,
you put your leg over the bike, it's like 18 inches over the body, trying to make sure that you don't
oh man,
scratch
I'm
it.
not like I'm hoping Max
Yeah.
scratches this bitch before I do because I
Yeah.
like I'll put it like this: like we don't, and I this is a thing, and I knew Mac didn't either. Like Mac doesn't put his helmet or jacket or anything on his bikes. Like those, nothing goes on the bike except for when you are fully suited.
Yeah.
But hell, I
I
would too if
wasn't
my
really
bikes
aware
looked
of
like
that,
that.
but now that you say that, I noticed that
Uh-huh. His
every
helmet's
time
in
he
his
goes by, it's
scooter
in
and
the
his
scooter.
and
Yeah.
the jacket's over top of it. And I made sure I asked him beforehand. I was like, hey, I was like, I need to carry my helmet and jacket, right? And he laughed and he looked at me and stopped laughing. He said, yes, do not put that on the bike. I said,
Yeah.
10-4, boss.
That's why
Um,
my tank shell's been painted 18 times on my
yeah,
bikes.
exactly. So anyways, I mean, I have I well, I'll put it like this. I got through the burnout. Everybody said the burnout was pretty decent. Went up there. I wasn't scared to let the button go because I think I was 40 on the tree.
No,
Very
god dang,
first
you
hit.
ripped that two step like that
Oh
thing was
man,
fuel
yeah.
injected. My heart dropped. I'm like, oh my God. I thought it was
I
going to
did.
jump through the beams.
I got aggressive with it. And basically as
It took
soon
it
as
though.
well, yeah, as soon as it got to 60, it's like my mind said, oh, we're good. And as soon as I started to think that, it started going hard right. Or I felt like it was going hard right. And I just like it surprised me, even though I thought it might, but I just wasn't ready. So I didn't react very well. So I like quarter cracked the throttle and was trying to shift it because it's got an auto. And luckily I didn't tear nothing up. I didn't hit the wall. I didn't
The
hit
thing has a
Joe.
really good transmission.
Yeah. So that was Q1. Then we come back the next day for Q2. And like I said, at night, your perception is way different. So I told them, I was like, look, I know I'll be a lot better just because, I can see the wall better. So if I'm going towards the wall, I'll figure it out. So similar deal, like let go and it felt good and then it started going right and I was trying to correct it and I just did it wrong because I just don't have that experience. So I had to barely let out at that time. I guess I manhandled or got it squarer and I got back in it. I think I went 5 flat on that pass, like under full throttle going through the trap. So
Yeah.
it wasn't terrible. We were making some strides. I mean, I went 640 and then 5 flat, so we were getting there.
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought when you try to test it once, it didn't work out that time. And then I always told you, I was like, realistically, I think you need to make a motor pass on it first. That's what I kept telling you. Like that's just to get familiar with how to drive it. Because like me and Dwayne Jackson was talking about it, and he was going to ride somebody's 460 bike once, and they was pushing him to the lanes, and he said, "No, I'm going back." Because in the pits is about the hardest place to ride those
It
bikes.
is. Oh,
Yeah,
100%. That was my biggest concern was in the pits. And I'll be honest with you. I learned more getting pushed back after Q2 with Squirrel pushing me and him teaching me basically and
push
telling
on the
me.
pegs, use your
Yeah.
legs.
And I was
Like
doing
yeah,
that the whole way. And by the time we got back, like I felt way more comfortable getting it to
the
and from
best
the lanes.
example is like watch Larry McBride go through the pits on his bike. He's hanging
Yeah.
off that thing and like just trying to drive it. You know what I mean? And that's the way you have to drive them. And the bigger the tire, the worse it is. Because the
Yeah.
bike wants to sit up, like it don't want to lean. So you got to hang off. You got to use your body weight to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
but you'll get it. I mean, I'm not saying that you'll like the next race. You might be fine, but now you've got kind of what to expect. And if they tweak it and get the thing going straight, then there really won't be a problem.
oh
So
yeah. Well, so we went up for Q3 and I'm second pair out and I go to warm the bike up probably well, I mean, that's a couple minutes before we're getting to go. I'm already suited up everything and it wouldn't fire. It cranked and then it stopped and then it wouldn't refire. So we mad thrashed. But Mac even jumped on his scooter because he's farther back and went and got a starter from it. And we put a different starter in it, right there in the lanes and it still wouldn't fire up. So I don't know, and I forgot I was hesitant to even get back on it there. I was like, man, I told Mac, I was like, I don't want to tear anything up. Like it's gonna take me a while to get adjusted, and,
well, if
and
there's an
they
issue, the best thing to do is just go back to the trailer.
well, yeah, but I was saying before we even went for Q3 and then
Oh,
we get up
okay.
there and it did that. So we couldn't get going. But like I said, I mean, the amount of time that Mac and Derek and everybody that's helped him, Boo, everybody has for the past
I
couple
seen
months
that
though.
bike this weekend. I seen that bike at the concrete pad at the tech thing, getting the checking the wheelie bars
Yeah.
and everything several times. You know,
Yeah. But I'm even
they
talking
were
like
working their butt
the
off.
past couple months. So
Oh well, yeah, he
I,
built the whole damn bike over the winter too. You know,
yeah.
so
And so shout out to Mac and Derek and Freddie and everybody that was helping out because it was literally like I just showed up and got on it. Sure, I would have looked like a hero if it went perfectly straight A to B because I would have just been along for the ride and like the speed and the launching, it did not bother me one bit. So that was good. That being said, I wouldn't have learned shit, and I'm just being honest. So I'm glad that to some
well that
extent it
this
wasn't
way kind
perfect.
of yeah. When things do go wrong, you'll kind of know what to do. You know what I
Right. So
mean?
that's my
Yeah.
point is like, if it went perfectly straight A to B and then say 3 or 4 races in, all of a sudden it went hard right or left or whatever, like then I have no idea what I'm trying to do. So yeah, so I learned a ton this weekend, and 460 is hard. It's a tough class, especially if you're used to mostly riding street bikes. But look, Mac's going testing tomorrow. He is that determined. He's going to get that thing squared away and running straight, and then I'm sure I will look like a hero. So, like I said, outside looking in, it looked like I'm sure some people, and it didn't look great because the bike wasn't going 100% straight, but that was just me. I just, I couldn't react and know well enough. Mac went perfectly fine. He rode it, had to ride it some, but so anyways, shout out to them. They worked their asses off, and I know they were more disappointed than I was. So that was my 460 debut. It wasn't much of a debut, but we'll be back. And shout out, I had so many 460 racers come up and, you know, offer me support and advice, and that was just cool, man. I'm just gonna be honest, that was cool as shit.
I mean,
Um,
I'm at the point where I do want a 460 bike, and if I ever get myself financially good enough to build one, I will. Just for the fact that my reentry might not get canceled. I was in a pro class.
oh shit. So yeah, that was 460. Where you want to go after that?
I mean,
Um,
the next thing that you won was bracket bash.
Bracket bash. Let
That's
me.
actually the next thing you. That's actually the first thing you raced, really, other than qualifying 460.
Right, yeah. So I got the Q1 Friday, missed my beloved Hard Times Parts and Service Gamblers race. That was tough, but that's okay. So bracket bash, yeah. Saturday I was riding my brother's bike, and man, that thing was running right, man. It was running 850s on motor. Just running right. And at the last race, I didn't really get comfortable on it on the tree. I hadn't raced it in a while, but I started coming around. I wasn't all there, but I did
No,
I
he
did
was not.
make I did make I literally, and y'all are gonna laugh, like I was going down the track, like actually I think it was the last 2 or 3 passes, and I was like, man, damn, I know Dustin and Jimmy Miller are gonna be proud of me because I just cut the tree down.
The last two.
The last two, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. The fifth round pass, I was not impressed.
oh, that one had a malfunction for sure. I know
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what you're
what
talking about.
you. Yeah, you said you threw the lever, the bike didn't leave. I'm like, do what?
That's all right. So I'm going back to so yeah, first round, I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't great. I was 80. I was actually pretty bad, I would say. Got through that one. Luckily,
Jesus.
because we didn't, I'm just going through them since you're gonna make fun.
I mean,
we didn't have
fuck. Y'all
well,
see
hey,
what happened to me when I was 05 or 6. I'm out. Bye bye. Get out of here,
man, it
kid.
is what it is. I can't make it up.
This is the luck stuff. I keep telling
Hey, I'd
all
rather
these
be lucky
years.
than good.
Well, but listen, all these years I've preached to you like, "Hi, Dustin, you won again." I had luck. Now quit saying that. No, you have to have it. Like you have.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not about not being a good racer. It's about when you do make a mistake that it's still good enough to get it done by the guy that you're racing. So or girl, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's the luck. That's what I call it. Like you gotta have those rounds where, and the lucky thing is just okay, maybe this day you can't be better than 04, 05. And then everybody you race is the same or worse,
Yeah.
or maybe you beat them on the big end or whatever. You just got to have it. Like it's just like part of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Sorry, I had to grab. I wanted to see what my time runs were, as to why. Oh no, so we only had one time run. So I don't know what happened first round. I was 50 in my time run, right? It was 50. I was 80 first round. Then I got back on the wagon, was 50 again. So here I was, I think at the first XDA, I was 70, 80 all day long on that bike. Like I just couldn't do any better. So I got back to the 50 second round. I was like, hey, that's that's decent, but I need to try and do better. And dang, if I didn't race Montrell third round. And it's funny because we're friends on Facebook and all, and I know he's a good racer. But he came up, he's like, "Man, he's like, I'm excited we get to race." I was like, "Okay," and he's like, "I've never raced you." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, okay." He was amped, man, and I was like, honestly, in my head, I was like, "Man, he about to lay it down." Like I just feel like he's amped, right? And I was like, I gotta try and step up, and I'll be damned if I didn't miss it. Well, I wouldn't say I missed. I was 60, but he was 001 red.
He's
And
both
get
dead
this,
on.
dead one. He was one thou
Yeah.
from yeah, he was 001 red, and we ran dead on with a one. Like he was no doubt getting ready to send me packing home, just shaking my head because he was so close to a damn near a perfect pass.
Yeah. Realistically, he had a perfect pass. He left one thou early and was one thou behind. It's a perfect pass.
Yeah, so exactly. So he was on that. To me, that was kind of a lucky round. I mean, first round, like I was kind of like you, to be honest. I was just I'll always buy back. If I can buy back, I'll buy back. So I just got lucky
Well, good thing
there.
you didn't.
I know, I know. Then fourth round, I raced our buddy Harvey, and I was 50 again. And that was wild. I know that. Well, I might as well because Harvey kept coming by. Harvey gave it to me, not intentionally, of course, but he just afterwards. I mean, he came up and was like, "Man, I misjudged the finish line in the
Yeah, he
fact of
lost the
like,
finish
yeah,
line.
like he
Yeah.
just lost sight of it." So Harvey had me. I don't want to say dead to the water, but he treated me. He was 30 to my 50. And going down through there right when I was trying to decide what I was going to do, he just let it rolled out like early, thinking he was closer to the stripe, and that made it easy for me. So I hate it when a better race, but it is what it is. And then round five is what Dustin's talking about. Look, I'm not joking. I told Dustin I was kind of panicked. Um, I went and I'm promise I threw the lever and I was trying to smash it too because I was like, I'm not gonna slide by with any more of these mediocre lights. And something happened. I don't know if my glove got hung on the lever, but when I thought I threw it, like the bike just sat there and then it like jerked my head because it didn't leave and I was dead late. Um, my opponent was red. He was 40 red. So I was dead late and got lucky. I asked Dustin for some advice. We had some time, so I checked the clutch per my buddy, my teammate. Then my other teammate, Mr. Jimmy Miller, comes by. He's like, I know what we're doing. He just goes to work on my bike. So shout out to Squirrel, the man.
Yeah, you lubed your clutch switch up just to make sure it was good, right?
It was Squirrel said, man,
Yeah.
them clutch switches, they'll hang up and you're running on the two step. He's like, I bet that was it. So Squirrel just jumped right in and did it for me. I mean, that's how good of friends and teammates we have.
Must
And
be
he's
nice
done
to be
that.
parked by your friends to have somebody help you.
Bro, don't even start with me. Don't even start with me. Ribbing me all night long. So shout out to Dustin and Jimmy for helping me. So I just forgot about it. And I was like, look, I was like, I'm going up here. And we was at that point, I didn't realize how many we were down to, but we came back up and there's four of us. And honestly, I said, I'm gonna make Dustin and Jimmy proud this round, or I'm going red. And I let go. And by the 3:30, I no shit said, "Oh, Jimmy and Dustin gonna be proud on this one," because I knew I'd smashed it.
Yeah, we were watching you about the 3:30, and we both thought you had a bad line.
Yeah, yeah. And then these fools are over there watching, probably drinking a cold beer, saying he was 80 again. Watch
We
this.
threw our arms up like that fucker. He missed it again. I'm like,
Yeah,
he'll
I
still
remember
win. That's
y'all
what I
told
said.
me. But I was so proud. I literally thought of you two fools as I was going down the track because I just knew it. I knew I'd finally got it. It's
Yeah,
come around and I was racing. What is Mark Schwam, and I really don't know. I mean, he wasn't bad. He was 30, but man, he drove around me at like
159 mile an hour. That thing makes a move on the big end. And I remember that pass when I raced it in Top Sports when I was prepared for that. I was like, oh, this thing makes moves.
yeah,
And
like 1,100 feet. He just comes barreling by me, and I don't know.
Nos.
Well, I don't know if he just thought he was trailing dead on, but man, I just said bye. I didn't know what to do. He just drove right around me and broke out. Which I mean, like I said, I had a tree, so I
And
would
then yet
I
again, we couldn't finish and we had to do it the next morning.
well they yeah. So at four, Big Dave said, well, he asked us, but I didn't really. I love Big Dave, and he knows that. He asked us, but I didn't really think it was a question. I guess. He said, "Are y'all okay with doing it in the morning?" So to me, that was saying we were doing it anymore. So I said, yeah, whatever, whatever. I was like, if I don't get my ass kicked, then I'll race in the morning. So yeah, we were set to be the first thing down the track the next morning, and I had to race a young man the next morning who was on
Speaking of him in
fire
the
all weekend.
semis, he was 001 and one above.
Yes, he was, and I heard them announce it. He was 001, or maybe you and Jimmy told me. I can't remember.
Yeah, they announced it. We told you that when we was watching him.
So the next morning I was like, man, this kid's been on fire. He's a young guy. I didn't really know him. Turned out that our buddy Randall had told us about him. I just forgot, you know. Anyways, he was on fire, and I said, man, this kid was 001 the night before. I said, I got to bring it. You know, I can't slack up, and I got to make Dustin and Jimmy proud again. So I tried my best, and I was ready for him. I dialed 8:53. He dialed 8:47, so it was gonna be a tight race. And I tried to drill the tree again. And when I left, I felt really good. And I thought my peripherals, I seen him wheeling about the 60 foot, and I looked up, and my light was on. So he went red, but he was trying to slap me down. He was 005 red, just barely red, and just super nice guy, man. Young, I call him a kid. I think they said he was like 20, 21. But
Yeah,
super
he's
humble.
young. Yeah,
As a kid to us now, I forget we're getting old, you know. So
yeah.
just super humble, nice young racers. First time at XDA, went all the way to the finals of the bracket bash, and yeah, just super cool to see new people out, young blood in the sport and doing well. And I told him, I said, man, there's people that race for years and not do as well as you have. So be proud. And I think he went pretty far on well, I was going to say Sunday, but that was Sunday. The rest of the day, I seen him quite a bit throughout the day in various classes. So, man, you got this pulled up. I know I'm gonna butcher his name.
Who is it?
Levontre Clark.
Yeah,
That's
Levontre Clark. That's what
okay.
I would say.
Levontre Clark. Okay, well, shout out to you, man. And this was super cool too. I forgot about this. I got the picture, man. He told me after we raced, he said, man, you care if we get a picture, because we had to race all day. He said, I want to get a picture with you, before we leave. I said, yeah, man, yeah, whatever. That's cool. And sure enough, there he was still. Well, he did really well, like I said. So he was racing most of the day, but there at the end of the day, he was there. And he's like, "Man, can we get a picture?" So we jumped in, got a photo in the winner's circle, just me and him. And like I said, just super cool to
Hey, he
to
was
have
still
that.
racing, and 40 time was loading his stuff up.
I
So
know that's what I'm saying, but just I mean, it was just cool to have someone you race. Just I mean, he literally. What did he say? He said, "Man, I just am excited I got to race against someone of your caliber." And I mean, like that was like I don't know, that was just humbling. Like I don't expect that. Like I was more worried about him, and like I said, he was, I feel like some people, especially because obviously he knew who I was, so he could have easily just whatever been dead late or cracked. That boy was ready. I mean, he was taking the challenge, and he was gonna lay a package down on me. He was just 5 down on the other side. So I respect that. So shout out to Levontre. Hope you come back and race with us again. Just stay away from me, brother, because I don't want nothing to do with the
yeah,
packages you were laying
just be
down.
better than '06 racing being. You'll be fine.
Mm. Shout out. So I was 17 on there. So you're right. I was just good the last 2 rounds. So that
College
was a good
sportsman is kind of the same. It's like good light, bad light, good light, bad light.
man.
I'm
Well,
consistently red. At least I'm consistent.
yeah,
Damn,
I'm
Ben.
I'm inconsistent. But hey, you know what was cool? I don't know if I told you this, but I'll tell everybody that morning. Well, no, first off, I got to step back. Saturday night, my soon-to-be bride said, we got finished up, and I said, we got a race first thing in the morning. And she said, well, guess you better go find Darnell. And I said, do what? She said, you race really good after Darnell's been out, running the pits all night. I said, say no more, boss. I'm on this. So I strive to get Darnellish Saturday night at the wise words of my
Oh
better half.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she knows you.
So yeah, woke up, and then I surprisingly felt pretty damn good Sunday morning, which was a
Well, we don't
surprise to
start
me.
till 10 a.m. So
Yeah. Well, I think I went to bed at 3:30, something like that. Anyways, felt good, woke up, got to see my little boy. He was hanging out, playing, got everything ready, went down to make that pass. And I told him, man, I'd looked up last week them little Strider bikes. Damn, them things are kind of expensive. For what they were. Like,
After winning 2 races, that the winning money was $5,000. I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm telling a story, man. You're not listening. You're not listening.
I'm listening.
I said last week I'd looked them up and I was
Yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
those things are kind of expensive. It was like 250 for like the balance board and the bike and everything, right?
Yeah, but it made it easier when you go and you cash out.
Well, I
It
looked at
was rough
Walker
before the race.
Saturday. No, but
I know.
I didn't buy it until
Oh, I know. Yeah, you told him
yes,
if
I
you
looked.
won.
Yeah, I looked at Walker Sunday morning. I said, buddy, I said, if Daddy wins this round, this race right here, I said, I will buy you a Strider. If Daddy loses this round, you don't get one. So luckily, I pulled it off and I ordered him a nice red Strider with balance board on yesterday, I guess, and gladly get him hooked up. But yeah, that was just cool. That just felt good to me. Last race I told Dustin, some other people, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just wasn't focused last race, but I really felt calm and relaxed and just felt good, even though my lights weren't 100% where I want them to be. I was racing the finish line like I love to. And that I think that's really where the success came. So yeah, I guess rolling right into top sportsman. The craziest shit ever happened first round to me. Um, I had to race Mike Sweeney, super nice guy. Always enjoy racing him. We usually have some knockdown dragouts. Um, I told Dustin this already, but I was in the right lane and I told Mike, I was like, just remember, because I try to tell people too. I said, you've heard my bike, right? He's like, yeah, it's loud. So okay, just making sure, just remember it's loud. Like I don't, you know. So, anyways, I go on the two step and stage, and I thought I heard him go on the two step, and then I heard like loud bang, like sound like a bomb going off because I could hear it over my loud ass motorcycle. And I was trying to stay focused, but out of my peripherals, I thought I seen like a puff of black smoke. And then the next thing I know, the tree came on and I tried not to like screw it up and I left and I thought I went red actually. Because I was just all discombobulated. And when I left and Mike was still sitting there because he was dialed slower than me, like I was just all out of shape. And I was like, wow, I almost, could have screwed that up. So Sweeney had problems. I went back and seen the video. That thing, he went on the two step, it popped, banged, puffed black smoke, and he just rolled out of it because he thought it was tore up too.
I
Can't
think it
get
started spraying nitrous or something. Sounds like.
something. And then he told me too, by the way, he's like, man, your bike was loud as shit. He's like, kind of messed me up. I was like, I told you it was that. So snuck by that round. It was just a weird round. Like that was just unusual. The next round I stepped up, raced let's see, I pulled it up. Rick Bunting. I left. I felt like I really, really got the tree good on that. That was a weird race too. That bike Rick has, it's what is it? It's like a GS with a
Yeah,
14 tail section on
it's
it.
kind of like Mummert's bike, but it's got a 14 tail.
Yeah. Let me tell you what. I left. I felt really good on the tree. Started reeling him in, and at like 3:30, he just started like dog walking me, like my blower bike. And luckily I stayed calm because I was like, that's really weird that I'm getting like gapped right now. And then about eighth mile, like I guess his nitrous just came in like a hella shot. Like we're gonna call it hella shot from 3:30 to eighth. Um, about the eighth, it calmed down and I just slowly started reeling him in and kind of like Dustin said, thank goodness I didn't panic. I think I made scrambled eggs a little bit, had a couple eggs going down through there, hit the scramble button, but I was 011 and got by him. And actually, I got my tickets. I want to see. I feel like I drove pretty good the stripe. Sorry, had to reach for him, y'all. Let's see here.
I mean, by the numbers, you had 50,
Yeah,
56 in the tree. You went 585 on a seven, so that's 97, 3. You probably took 03, 04.
took 005.
Really?
Oh yeah.
My math is terrible.
I
Oh,
was
okay.
I was 8 above, he was 3 above, and I was 11, he was 67. So, yeah, I took
Yeah, you're
005.
right. Yeah, because his package was 98.
Mhm. Yeah, so I was super excited about that, and I knew I'd got there. So I knew I was on point. Like I was driving the finish line well.
Yeah, you had a
Uh,
good light. Damn.
and I had a good light. Yeah. So I was trying to
Yeah.
make y'all proud.
Was
And
it
then,
cold? Was it cold in the shutdown?
was it cold?
Yeah,
No, why?
because hell froze over.
Oh man, you're ridiculous. Um, man, third
I'm
round.
laughing at you,
I
but you
know,
won, didn't you? Know?
I know. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
He's like, keep
Then
talking shit. This is payback for all my red lights I got at Maryland. You were talking about. That's all this is.
yeah, yeah, you did get a lot. Oh, wait, what was it like 5 in a row?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
was also phenomenal on the tree every
it
leg.
don't
So
matter. They're still red. It don't matter what you do. So yeah, that's payback. They're probably everybody's probably tired of hearing about us just talk shit back and forth by now. But man, I had to race Daddy-O in round 3, and I hate that shit. Man, I'm telling y'all, I was upset, and when we shut
you were so
down.
upset you took a nap.
Oh, okay. The comedy hour. See, we got Dustin back tonight, y'all. Dustin feels 100% better because he was talking shit. Well,
I
me
do
and
feel better.
Daddy-O, we weren't we definitely weren't knocking out of the park. I was 67, Daddy-O was 79, and we went down through there, and I got a wheel in front of Daddy-O, I think, and yeah, I got the
You
win
both
on
was
that
pretty
one.
close to number. I mean, he went two above, you went one above. Like it was a
Yeah.
good race, even because you both like kind of the same, almost the same lights. There was what 12,000 separation, and
Uh-huh.
then you both kind of almost a dial in. It was a good. That was a good race. It realistically was.
Well, the thing is that the second round, my bike slowed up a little bit, and I honestly think because I've basically kind of staged that thing kind of in the middle of the track, just to try and find some fresh glue, and it was hard for me to push in. I think I was really in some. They had just prepped or something, so I honestly think that's why it slowed up. So I wasn't quite comfortable what I was dialing because it had been great up until then. Um, so I dialed up a little bit with Daddy-O. And then dang if it didn't just go right back to what it was running. So I was honestly gonna break out, but
Yeah.
luckily somehow I had a little bit of advantage, so I was able to take 018 and win that one. And then we went to the semifinals and had to race Gary Clontz, and I left and felt good and looked up and seen that he had turned on the red light. I was 42, so I was kind of getting back down there. Gary was 005 red. And just kind of got a test pass on that, kind of figure out where the bike was, and then had to race the squirrel in the final. We
I
got to
see
race
what
my
I
buddy
know what
Jimmy.
happens. I know I can almost so you get to the finals, you're racing your damn roommate really
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
weekend.
Jimmy stays with us.
Right, exactly. And then you just calm the fuck down and actually race. You actually you actually did good, like killed it. Like you know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is like when you realize you're in the final, I'm sure you guys split. So like there was zero pressure and you laid down a 12 pack.
Yeah. And my bike was breaking out by over a tenth in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so then like my bike had run great except for that those last 3 rounds it went a little bit slow, then went right back to normal, and then that round. And I think this was because I was nothing looked great, so I just went in the groove, and I just think it didn't slow it down, and I picked up a ton. So I was breaking out pretty bad, but I knew I'd hit the tree. Well, I felt like it was my best light all day, and I think it was. So I was 12. Passed Squirrel right
You were
away.
11. You were 11 first round
Oh, okay. I was 11.
or
Okay.
second round. Second round, you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
11.
Well, right there, I knew I'd hit it good, and I mean, I was beside Jimmy at the 60 foot, I think.
Yeah, but your bike 60 foot's way harder than his does. His bike 330 is good, but your bike 60 foot's really good.
Oh no, I mean, I know that
Yeah.
for sure, but just to be there already, and basically, I just he never really came back around me. So I started putting some bikes on him, and then I rolled out pretty good pretty early. I think about 800 900 foot because I was just getting too far away from it. I did kind of a big long rollout and then just rolled back in it, and I took O2. Oh yeah, I took O2. Thought I'd killed enough and had no clue I was breaking out by a mile, and I went dead zero. So I mean, kind of luck there. I mean, it was
He
the
broke
reaction
out
time
too.
helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jimmy went a 91 with a 5 on a 93, and I went dead zero. So poor Squirrel got a 12 pack on him, only to fall over in the Pro ET. and raced our other teammate and buddy Boo Brown, who proceeded to put 9 total on Squirrel the next round. So shout out to our boy Jimmy. That's Jimmy's luck, man. We raced a lot last year, and I promise you, Jimmy could be 25 total, and his opponent would be 15 total. It just didn't matter.
Yeah, Jimmy does have bad, like,
He has bad luck in the sense of like when he
he
lays
come
down a good package, he can just get straight donkey
he
stomped
come
by
over to
somebody
my
laying down
trailer and he
perfect.
was like, Ben was 12 total, then Boo was 9 total. I said, Jimmy, you were in the final with Ben in one class. You did good, man. Like, I'm loading up. I didn't go no finals. Like, you're preaching to the wrong person right now.
Yeah, yeah. It was wild, man. So
And bless my wife's heart. Like, I know her and she's thinking I'm bad luck because she gets to come with me and we get to hang out. Like, man, she helped me so much this weekend. I actually had someone to help me. You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
she was actually in the lanes every pass, kept the torch on the scooter because I didn't have time to do my battery thing. Like, she was super helpful. And I told her, I'm like, it ain't you. Like, it's me.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I double O reds, whether you're there or not, I do the same stuff, you know? It's like if anything, you make it easier on me because I'm not doing it all by myself, you
right.
know? And if I had to give up winning races just to have my family there, I just have my family there, you know?
Oh,
We
100%.
had a great time. So,
Well, I left I told you before, and I left the dogs at home this weekend because first race we had the dogs. So to me, it felt like I had to take care of the dogs, you know, because Tiffany was taking care of Walker. So I said, well, let's
yeah, a little
eliminate
too
that.
much on your plate. Yeah.
Yeah, so we eliminate, and I love my dogs so much, but they're not enjoying it at the track anyway. So left them at home, felt a lot
Yeah. I mean,
better.
hell, Maggie's in an AC RV, and then like about the third day in, Tamara would go walk her, and she'd come sit with me under the tent for a little while, and Tamara would go put her back in the RV, and she'd put the brakes on. Like, I don't want to go back in there. I'm like, well, you kind of have to. Like,
Yeah,
you can't stay out here.
exactly, exactly. So to round out my racing, I fell over into 6th round of Pro ET. There's 6 of us left. Of course, I had to race the badass Dale Hamilton. And I'll be honest, I'm not making excuses, but man, I did a bonehead move. Um, Dale was dialed like 904, I think, and I dialed 777. And for whatever reason, my mind said, just see if he turns it green and then hit the tree. I guess in my head, I was just thinking like it was longer than it was. I mean, it was whatever, a 1.3 second head start, but that means my tree's on when his light comes on. It was
You're a
just
bulb. Yeah, you're a bulb separation kind of
Yeah,
almost.
well, my top bulb was coming on when his was
Yeah.
green. When I was waiting to see if he was green or red, it was just a bonehead move, and I don't know if I don't know. It was just dumb on my part, to be honest. I'm not making excuses, but anyways, seeing his light turn green, tried to focus on my side, realized I didn't have time to focus, and I left, and I was 70, and he was 40, and man, I tried like
If I
hell.
done that, I guarantee you I would have red lighted because I would have followed the tree down. Like if I went from one
Yeah.
side into another in a panic like that, I'd have red lighted,
Well,
100%.
it was no sense because I kind of knew where I was with that bike and with that clutch and everything, and I should have just really hit it.
That's also, I meant to say that earlier. That's something that I think personally helped you, and you probably haven't even
100%.
realized it, but you haven't realized why
Oh, I
you're
know why.
riding. You're why?
That clutch. I love that
No, no, no,
clutch.
no, no. What I'm saying is helping you is you're riding two motorcycles that ride the same way.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're two
100%.
stepping on both bikes. You're throwing a
Uh-huh.
lever to leave on both bikes. It makes everything better.
Oh,
You know what I
agree
mean?
100%. And I slowed my bike up even more, which made me judge. So I will say this: I wasn't mad. Dale's a great guy. I think
He
you
went
had
on the
said,
win. It was his day. You can't beat
yeah.
nobody on this third day. Period.
No, and he was good. I look, Dale was like 40 every round.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he was 48 in the finals, 41 in the semis, 44 against me. Um, hell, I'm not looking round 5. He had a bye. It was 002. I mean, Dale was racing well that day. 015 in round 4. Just absolute 020 round 3. Damn, I'm gonna go through it all there.
I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit. So Dale's been having a lot of trouble with
Well, that's what I was
batteries,
gonna say. So I
and
wanted you to jump in there, but yeah, I know
yeah,
Dale hasn't been
he's been
his
having
typical self, is what I
he's
was
been
gonna
having
say.
a lot of electrical gremlins and battery issues. And I've talked to Dale probably a dozen times since Maryland, and I sent him I was going to get him a PTNS, but we couldn't get one built in time for the race he was going to a few weeks ago. So I sent him a Western Power Sports Firepower, like 360 co-cranking amp battery. And we talked about it, and he's going to make his bike 24-volt start too to eliminate straining on battery to start it. And he did that, and he said, "Man, it's awesome." So I'm very thankful to help him and then see him go out there and just rip it and be back to himself. But it was good to see Dale back in the winner circle because Dale is a badass racer. He always has been. He's been doing this longer than I have, So,
He's a former NHRA world champion. I mean, like,
yeah,
I'm like, that was my point too, is like, it seems like Dale, been having some issues lately, but look at this. I went back. I didn't even look back this 024 first round for Dale, right?
yeah,
So he's on one there. He's just coming out the gate ready to go. Oh, sorry, there's so many. Round 2, 033. Still, right there at it.
deadly consistent.
Round 3, 020. And then, like I said, I kind of named the other ones off, but
Yeah,
015, then 002. Then he just settled at 40, 044, 041, 048. So he
yeah,
anyhow, Dale left me a window. He's dialed. I did my bonehead move. I was going down through there, and at about 1,000 feet, because as Dustin said, this is one thing I learned too. Basically, this race, I was like, I gotta be patient on this thing. Like, I'm gonna catch him quick. And at about 1,000 feet, I'm like, damn, I think it's going to be super tight. I'm going to go around Dale through the traps. And sure enough, as we were coming up to mile per hour cone, I rolled out and I took 003. I did everything I could after my bad light to break out by 6 thou. So it was funny too, because I was in the left lane, yeah, and Dale was in the right, and we got to the shutdown. And got off the bike. I was like, good job, Dale. And he's like, who won? I was like, you won, man. He's like, well, I didn't see a wind light. And I was like, yeah. I
well,
was
the
like, I
right
think
lane don't work. The
right.
left
I was
lane's
like,
the only wind light.
which I found out. I forget who I was, but anyways, I was like, yeah, man. I was like, that. I think that wind light's broke. He's like, you sure I won? He's like, dude, you came by me so hard. He's like, I have no clue who got there. I was like, look, Dale. I was like, I got there. I was like, I was late and I broke out. He's like, really? He's like, you sure about that? I said, trust me. And there came Jean around the corner. She hands me the ticket. I was like, see, told you I was late. I got there by 00. I was like, and I broke out. And he's like, damn, you knew it. I was like, yeah. I was like, that was a bad part, knowing the race and how it unfolded.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's kind of our job is to be aware. Like as
Mhm.
a racer, you got to be aware. Like when I was '06 in the bracket bash, I threw the lever and I'm like, I was probably 50. I knew I wasn't. A problem with me at Virginia is I have to feel like I'm late to be good. And I have to, if I'm late, then I'm like 50. And if I hit it where I normally hit the tree at, I'm red. So when I let go of the lever, I'm like, ooh, I was late. And I was like, I was guessing 50 and I was 60 something. So that's a pretty good guess. And McAllister just strapped a 004 on me.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but I mean, at least when I made mistakes, I was aware that I made the mistake. That's a big thing to know when you did wrong. The only
oh
time that I
yeah,
didn't know what I did wrong was when the bike blew the tire off. I didn't. I'm 95% sure that I didn't ride the rev limiter. If I did hit it, was barely. So I am proud of that because that's a very hard thing to do to catch one when it blows a tire off and not get it in the rev limiter. And I built my own motors, and it hurts me to do that to them.
yeah.
So I was kind of happy of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was a great
The next,
weekend, and
the next
shout out to
thing,
Dale for winning that. But hey,
yeah,
despite my bonehead move on the starting line, I was pretty proud to take 003 with a 30-mile-an-hour
yeah. I mean,
difference,
you
and
you
I
can't
knew it.
you can't go to a race and double up and not be like, fuck
Oh
yeah,
no,
you know
I
what I
was
mean?
ecstatic
Like,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um,
I was just trying to get my kid home because she started summer school this week, so I actually went to the winter circle for your picture in my RV.
hey, I had to leave y'all last time, so I get it.
I wasn't leaving until you were done, but I,
I
I was
appreciate
getting
that.
my stuff ready to go. Like I
Yeah.
was like, if we get everything done and then he wins, we can just drive the winter circle on the motorhome and take the picture.
Well,
I
I
was
told
because I
myself,
knew I had 7.5 hours, to get
yeah.
home. So
I was mad after the last race where Uncle Walt had taken the camper, so I had the dogs, and I was like, man, I need to leave. They're just stuck in the truck now. And then
Yeah.
Tiffany and me and Walker rode together. So I was like, man, if I get my ass kicked, really want to stay and watch everybody, but I kind of need to get them home. So,
Yeah. Yeah, but you had a
um,
2 hour drive. You had no excuse to go home early this time.
no, I don't really have any time. You want to
I
run through
want to
these
talk
other
about
classes or
I
what?
want to talk about some real street.
All right, let's talk about Real Street. Let's talk
I
about,
am happy to see my brother from another mother finally get a grip. And it's wild because me and Tamara, like I told y'all, we sit in a very good spot at Virginia to like just we can see the scoreboards, we can hear the announcers. There's a lot of traffic. Every time this picture went by, we're like, hey, and he was going the lanes for Real Street and stuff. And Brown, he goes 774. I'm like, that's pretty good. That ain't bad. It's still a little bit off the fast guys, but he got it done, got the win light. And then second round, we're sitting there and 760. We're like, oh man, he's creeping up on it. And he raced Hannibal, who, was a legend in Real Street, and he went 67. And third round, he goes up there and he went up 53. I'm like, bro, like every lap, he's just going faster. I was like, if he goes in the 40s, because he had to race Marcus in the final, I was like, man, something else about that. And third round, he raced Ricky Gadsden.
who had been
And he
talking
was,
shit.
yeah. And Spitzer was 023 on the tree in Real Street with a power adder bike, which is hard to do. Now, Ricky was 038, but he strapped one on him.
Yeah,
And he went 191 mile an hour on a nitrous bike and just drug the turbo bike. Like, I thought that was cool.
well, and like I said, I mean, Ricky kind of been poking the bear the last couple
Yeah.
months, specifically
He,
at Spencer, and
he
Spencer wasn't
literally
sure he's going to come back and run Real Street again. And so, hey,
he
Rick,
literally strapped his best package down on
yeah,
Ricky. He really did.
Ricky. I mean, I seen you posted a video of like qualifying or some shit.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the round. I
I
want to
want
see
to
the
see the
round.
other. I want to see
Yeah.
the semifinal video. Rick, where's that at?
Yeah,
Bro?
yeah, I
'Cause,
want to see that.
you posted a video of you
I almost commented
driving
on that.
away.
I'm like, well, I want to see this. I want to see the semis, but I didn't. I just left it alone. But he goes to the finals, cool, man, and I was fired up for him. I was a little worried because Marcus did have a 740 all motor bike and Gen 2 clutch, so you could strap a light on them, And Marcus come out of the burnout box, and I think he sloshed fuel or something, and people were taking their shirts off, and Spencer actually made a mistake. Like he left, it wheelied, and it was ugly, but Marcus blew the tire off, and
he blew the chain off.
Oh, was it the chain? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it spun, then maybe hooked. I heard it like spin, and then I heard, he pulled over or whatever. But
right when he came drifting by, like the chain was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably right. It probably like spun, hooked, and then chucked it.
Yeah. But I mean, Spencer was like, Willie, oh God, he got it down and then rolled in it. And them bikes, man, I'm telling you, that bike specifically, it does not like pedaling and getting back in it. Normally it backfires, a big fireball, singes his beard and all that crap, but it took it. Jesus took the wheel. He only went at 802 at 184, but hey, man, it was a win light. It was very cool to see Turk in the winner's circle holding the number one up, even though XDA used a picture of him reaching forward with a sad face, kind of being whiny. But there was another picture where he's holding number one up, which I thought was just the coolest little thing ever. And it was cool to see.
Back
when
in
I
the
went by
circle.
him, when I went by him going up for one of the rounds in Pro ET, they were sitting there to take their picture. And I was like, the Amish Outlaw's back. And they all started laughing. And I just, for one thing, that's a really close friend of ours. And just to show that he can still get shit done out there. And like a lot of people don't realize how daggum hard he works the racetrack, because he's working on his grudge bike, Bud's Real Street bike, his Real Street bike, a Carter's bike, and then he's got Kyle riding his bracket bike, just learning how to race and stuff. He's kind of supervising him, and he's got to hold Squirrel's paw usually for top sportsmen. So like Spencer is probably busy as me, or if not busier, and it's not even his job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
he is busy.
So yeah, like even at his pits, like there's always a lot going on because you got family and kids and bikes tore apart and things is happening. And
I don't know how they all do it. Like I would just melt down, to be honest.
I would suck every time I went to the racetrack with all that commotion. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't handle it. But it was very cool to see them, get out there and at least he had a rough outing with TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, but one trip, and it wasn't rough. It was just new bike. You got to kind of learn what it wants, and we actually did learn what it wanted after it spun first round. We made some changes, and I went up there to help him, and it worked great. So, I had nothing to do because we got I got shut out of that bracket bash deal. But and then another one that I wouldn't care to talk about a little bit before we give some money away is Jason Dunnigan. I mean, it's kind of cool that people that we've had on our show here, we get to talk about some cool stuff they've done. But Jason could have probably won top sportsman this weekend with the pro street bike. Like, I don't think the bike could run anything but 640 something. I think one pass maybe he didn't go 640 something. I'll just call it. So
qualified with a 643.
yeah, so he qualified a 43. First round he goes a 44 at 231. Second round, 63 at 229. Third round, 44 at 228. And then the final, he goes a 45 at 228. He was 039 on the tree. Rodney Williford was 19 and went a 644. So that was like
hell of a race.
Hell of a race. You're talking 300 separation at over 200 mile an hour. Rodney's bike didn't take high gear, so he was probably going to lay his squashy out and show everybody a 30 something that pass, but it didn't work out. Either way, Jason done a great job.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
DME killed it. I mean, Andy's tuning 3 pro street bikes right now. That's got it. For that bike to just go out there and basically live in the 640s every lick and number one qualifier. And it's just cool to see, I think they've really got a grip on the bike. I'm not saying that they are faster than Rodney when Rodney needs to be, but they're definitely.
Rodney lived in the 40s.
Yeah. But
they both did.
Yeah. He's definitely, Rodney knows when he races Jason, he's going to have to find some power, and I think that all leads down to do you go out there and push it and spin and lose, or do you just leave it alone and let it go 640 something? And then I've had a few people come over to my trailer, kind of off subject, but they're like, man, my bike spun. And even I spun once. But you can't really blame it on the track when you got guys like that going up there and going 640s every lick. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to kind of figure out what you did wrong or what's wrong on your bike for a track to take those bikes at the wheelbase they are, all front heavy and all that stuff, and just to lay down passes. Now they do get fresh prep before they go out. I get that. But we're going the quickest of us is at least a second and some change slower than them. You know what I mean? Bracket racing. So there's no reason for us to be having such a hard time. But I just think it's cool to see bikes of that caliber go that fast, that consistent. But I've always kind of thought the faster you go, the easier it is to be consistent because the less time you're on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I feel that's got to be close to the fastest side by side ever. It's got to be close.
Well, I think they was
45.
Wasn't there a time that people too went 30s?
Maybe. I mean, like I said, it's probably at least top 5. I'd say it might not be the quickest side by side ever, but
either way, it's just
cool
to see.
I think they said it was the quickest field ever, though, right? The bump was 681. I think they said that.
Yeah, it is cool to see that. Jason's paid his dues, and it's good to see him out there really just consistently doing well. I think qualifying, he had top mile an hour, I think, even.
Oh, yeah, he went 231.
Yeah, so.
How about this, though? I mean, so we wanted to shout out Jason, right? We had him on, that he's been working hard. You heard his story. Everybody liked hearing Jason. Need to get Mr. Williford on here, talk about how he owns the class.
He's like the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff. Rodney was there the whole weekend too. I mean, Rodney went a 642 in round 1, then he went a 644 in round 2, then in round 3 he went a 645 with an 018 light, and then in the finals a 44 with an 019.
Yeah, see, I never even noticed how consistent his was. He was dead on too.
Yeah, they both did a bracket race.
And our homeboy Gage was number 4 qualifier, the 52. That's pretty cool. Or 50,
Or
52.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
is that's close to his quickest too, right?
I think
What
he
did
went like a 40 something at
yes.
Maryland, didn't he?
Okay. Yeah, it was something like the
But he
fastest
made a
pass
good
he ever had.
lick. Yeah,
Another
good
good
pass.
look by Gage, but here's something we can't overlook, man. And I didn't even realize this because you know how it is when we're racing. We just usually we do miss the pro stuff just because we're busy getting our stuff ready. What about our man, Mr. Paint?
Yeah, I mean, number 2
Mark
qualifier.
Mark Rendeluck.
Oh, Mr. Paint. Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah, yeah.
Paint.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
653 at
sorry, Mark. I
225.
I probably butchered the last name. I'm sorry. You can tell me correctly, but man,
Rendeluck.
that
Yeah.
Rendeluck, man, he's always been such a cool cat. Qualified with a 653. First round, win a 653 and won. Second
Yep.
round, they stepped him up. He went a 648 and won to beat a 651. Hell of a drag race. Actually, I'd like to see those numbers. He went 48. He was 48
Wow.
on the
Yeah, I didn't
street.
even notice he was in the
Darian was
semis.
39. Yeah, Darian was 39. So yeah, and 50. That was a hell of a race right there. That was like
Well,
what,
hell, in
01
the
or something?
DME, damn near. I mean, if you after looking at the semis, DME damn near made it to the finals together.
Well, look at
Like,
this. I mean, he did not fold at all, which Mark's been racing forever and has raced some
oh yeah,
fast bar bikes. But look at that semis. He's 030 and runs 647, a career best with a hell of a light. And Rodney's 018 645 with an I mean, like that's
and
just crazy.
had 5 mile an hour in Rodney, so he was pulling him for
Yeah.
sure. Five
So
mile an
and
hour.
this
So
is this that's probably I don't know. What do you say? His 20th pass ever on the
yeah,
freaking bike? That's
yeah.
unbelievable.
And you're talking so 46, 14, um, and then 12, so 26 thousandths at the finish line. That's a race. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that was closer than the final was. You know what I mean? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So shout out to Mr. Paint because I had no clue you were kicking ass so well
Yeah,
this
me
past
neither.
weekend.
I would sit there and like I would hear Fabian, holler Jason, and he would go through, and I would see 6'4" because it seemed like Jason was always in the left lane, and I could see that board good 6'4" something 6'4". I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus, that thing's a bracket bike, and if I was in the lanes, I think I watched the finals from under the thing because I was up for round 5 when they run it. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, but I mean, just a good old weekend, good old boys doing good. Everybody that we are friends with or whatever, performing well. I will say this real quick before we get our giveaway stuff going.
Oh, I got a few more I want to run through, so go ahead.
Okay, well, as for someone that helps a lot of people and sells parts or whatever, it's pretty humbling to see, like, of course, Ben, do well, help him a lot. Dale, do well, help him a lot. My buddy Boyd that beat me went to the finals with Dale, help him a whole lot. Um, it's Spencer. It's cool to see that, all the time that I spend, helping people and all that stuff that, just trying to help them get their setup right or figure out gremlins or whatever. It's pretty cool, to see him go out there and do good. Shane, I help him from time to time. Street, the Gamblers race, he won it that I sponsor. It's just cool for me as a business to see people that I one on one with all the time go out there and just do well. Like for me, it's just nice to see something
Oh,
that
yeah.
I honestly, I don't know if many people that listen have ever been around me when I win a race. I don't really get fired up. You know what I mean? Like I just,
Not like I do.
yeah, I mean, I'm just as calm as I am if any other time. And I get more fired up seeing this stuff. Like when I get home from a race and I see people I help do well, like it literally gives me like a little pep in my step. It's nice to see them, happy and accomplishing stuff. And I might be a small part or a big part, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, you had lots of people that you helped doing well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn
I got
near
to
every
run.
class.
I was gonna say I'm gonna run through a couple more things. I
Yeah,
want to shout out
Nick
some more
Noble,
people.
560. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
dude,
So
like
what
he
about
buys
that
a lot of
final though?
stuff. He's in the university. Oh, it was a great
Nick
final.
called his shot, bro. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
yeah.
remember. I think so. We didn't do a call. We do call a university win calls every week, but we didn't do one this past week for obvious reasons. The week before, I think Nick told
Rico.
us.
Rico was in the final with Nick, which is
That's what I'm
also
saying.
someone
Two
else
of
that
our
I help.
boys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think Nick called his shot in our meeting. He's like, I'm gonna win 560 next race. And damned if he didn't. Him and
Yeah.
Rico, our homie Rico, went to the finals.
Man, Rico was struggle bussing on like Friday night, like all the bikes spinning. This I was like, go in my trailer, grab a Shinko, put it on the bike, it'll fix it. He did, and it never did spin again. But then he discovered that when his bike's running, the bottle's working up in the bracket, which is weird, but it's working itself up. And then when he leaves, his swing arm, his subframe was hitting it, and it was basically bottoming it out, making it knock the tire off. And
huh.
then he was a little slow, and I told him to change fuels, and then dude go, he was, as Boo would say, he's ready to quit, and then he goes all the way to the finals, at 560, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to those two, our little brother, Rico, our nephew, and Nick, who's a school member, winning 560. Man, I gotta jump over to 460. The man, the legend, Ronnie Procopio, and then another legend, Bones. Man, what a final. That if you want to know how tight this class is, Ronnie Procopio was 009 and went a 460 with a 4. And Ron Bones Bonitatis, probably messed your name up, Bones, sorry. He was 014 and went 460 with a 3. They
Yeah.
were separated by 4 thousandths.
I
That's
gotta say,
insane.
Ronnie's bike being pretty is hard for me. Like
Yeah,
every
he's
time
got
I
the
see
new
it, I'm
paint
like,
job.
that's Ronnie's bike. Well, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know.
wrap or a
Yeah.
paint job or what, but it looks nice. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'd see, because he always, like, he's got new leathers, nice helmet, nice wrap or paint or whatever's on the bike. It's like, because he's been wearing everybody out, a bike looks like it pulled out of a barn, and now it's all pretty. It's like, man, like I can't even spot the motorcycle
Ronnie
anymore.
was like me. I am looking for the wrong bike. You know what's so cool? I had mentioned this earlier. When I was struggling trying to run 460, these two dudes that were both ran dead on in the 009 014 4 thou difference, 004 at the stripe, right? Both them
Yeah,
dudes offered me free advice multiple times. Or Ronnie did a couple times, and then Bones gave me some advice as well. I mean, that's just cool to have
yeah.
such
And
badass
I
dudes
got,
giving me
I
advice.
have old drag racing videos with Bones in them at Atco, and I've been telling him for years I'm gonna send them to him. I just gotta dig all the disc up and find the clip, and I'll video it and send it to him. But like he's been doing this longer. We've been alive. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
insane. It's insane. So that was
And
just
two
super
completely
cool.
different combos, right? You got Bones on a turbo,
Husa.
bike that leaves, yeah, and then Ronnie's on a GS with nitrous that leaves on its nose and then has more mile an hour than anybody in the class, usually like 6, 7 mile an hour. Um, and that's just how he rolls. It'd be easier to be chasing. That's just how he does it. And I'm pretty sure he's got the class at least 5 or 6 mile an hour. Pretty much everybody.
Yeah,
And
he runs a lot for sure. I mean,
yeah,
he ran like five, I think right at what was it, 6 mile an hour faster than Bones on turbo bike. Yeah,
yeah,
56 to a 50, so 6 mile an
yep,
hour.
yeah. Well, 156. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that thing's railing. You know what I mean? So, good weekend.
yeah,
Uh,
it was cool for
got
them.
lucky and only had rain on Thursday, which is, BMP. It's got like a little
Look, it's gonna rain
rainfall
at
and tunnel.
VMP. I don't even
Yeah.
care. It wasn't supposed to rain on Thursday, was it? It wasn't supposed to
No,
rain
it
all
was.
weekend. It's gonna rain
It
at
was.
VMP
It
at some
was
point.
raining. I looked at my phone. And it said 12% chance. I'm like, well.
I also want to shout out to one of our other buddies, Mr. Sean Henson. Man, he took his bike, I think, to the first race last year, struggled a lot, then got busy with life and business.
No, let me tell a story real quick about Sean this weekend.
Oh Lord.
I'm on the like I said before, a really active parking area. Like it's just there's always action. He comes flying by on the little pit bike and sees me and pulls a U-turn. He's got a fuel pump in his hand. He's like, "Man, this thing won't run." I'm like, "Well,"
That was
he
Thursday,
pulled
right?
it Friday.
Oh, okay.
He pulled the pump apart. I'm like, "Well, that O-ring's got to be on this nipple. Put that back in there. It'll be fine." Cool. He come by like 25, 30 minutes later. just now went this such ET. I'm like, golly, he's
He was amped up, bro.
oh yeah, he went from like, oh god, I need a fuel pump. He was going to Cecil and he seen me and stopped and I helped him and then come back and just like laid it. I mean, I think he went what some 890 or 880 something or
Well, that's
like
why I wanted to shout him out. He's our boy, right? And
yeah.
he was actually at my house Wednesday picking up some stuff. But yeah, so he came up first race last year, raced with us. I had his stuff all year because he was planning on just coming up, and I was gonna bring his stuff. He got busy with work and everything. And honestly, he said he just didn't feel like him and his bike weren't competitive. He's on a new Gixxer. So he got yeah, I took the bike down to Cecil for him over the winter. They did some stuff, did some tuning and stuff. And Sean came up and got it and drove back down and just started testing. He started laying down laps because he's in Florida, so they race all year round. So he started laying down laps. So he felt really confident coming in. But man, he told me he went 901 before that weekend. He qualified fourth with an 890 and had the top mile an hour at 163. So he's got that little thousand strolling, boy, and he was amped up.
Yeah, so like we were up there watching one round, and Mike Davis, a buddy of ours, he goes down, like he leaves, and man, like pretty early, Mike's slid back on the second hump, like burying himself as much as he can, and he went like I want to say like a 80 something down through there, and then Sean goes and he leaves, and Sean's a lot skinnier than Mike, and it's just like he buries himself without even sliding back on the hump and goes by, and I'm like two completely different rider sizes, two completely different bikes, and the styles was different, but they almost run the same ET. Like
yeah.
I think Sean was a little faster or something that round, but it was just, and of course had more mile an hour. It was just cool to watch. Like I enjoyed. I would go out there I caught the chase road, and we would pull up in the grass and just sit there and watch. Me and Tamara spent a lot of time out there this weekend. It was just cool to watch.
Oh yeah, so definitely had to shout him out. And like you said, you mentioned Mike, our boy, a big guy from Ohio, taking it all the way to the finals again. And he qualified second with a stout 886. But damn, if Kurt Dog didn't lay it on him again. I think I read that he had bike problems himself, and then Chuck and them loaned him their bike, and he just did it on another 14. He said it don't matter.
Man, yeah, he's wearing them young guns out. You know what I mean?
Know, man. He is taking into school. He's the professor. We got to take Ron's nickname, and
yeah,
Curtis is the professor. Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's an exciting class because they're riding that class, boy. Let me tell you, I have no business in that. You'll never see me even attempt that. That's a rider's class. I'm not a rider. So shout out to all them. What else? What did we miss? A few things. You said Shane's an OG. He won Gamblers Race, the Hard Times Gamblers Race on
Yep.
Friday. Kip Green, right? Kip won Street ET. Who did Kip race? Clay Davies. Dang. Okay, I didn't know. That's awesome. Clay's
Couple legends.
Yeah, so you got Kip and Clay in the finals of Street ET. Damn, I just pulled this up. Clay was 060 and dead on 5. Oh my goodness, boy. This is not a typical. I don't feel like this typical Street T. Kip was 045 and dead 4. Them boys was laying it down in the finals.
I remember hearing Fabian announce they were both dead on before I left.
That is tight. Yeah, that's all I got. I feel like I'm not. Oh, well, shout out to Mr. Burkhart. I forgot we was talking about his badass ride at the beginning with that new bodywork.
Yeah, he won Monster Bulls.
He won Monster Bulls. Hell, we might as well go through what JT snuck in. I barely got to see him and talk to him, and out of nowhere, back.
Hold up. If anybody's listening to this that was around this situation, so I watched one of 5 friends and one family's videos on Facebook. And in the final of one of the classes, I swear they both run on motor. Like, I don't know. They did not run
about that. So
I want to know. Like, maybe there was a side bet or they done. I don't know. But like, they left, and I'm looking like I've seen these bikes like go down the racetrack. I'm like,
right.
And even the dude that does the videos was like, man, they act like they was turned down. Like, and everybody was smiling. Like I'm very confused. I I started to share it, be like, somebody explain this. Not explain, but explain. Because I didn't, I'm like, what is going on? You know?
Well, I didn't see any of that. I think I was. What is that?
I hit the spring on this mic holder, and
Oh,
it,
I
like
was like,
I
I
can
thought
play a
you hit,
tune, guys. Listen.
bro. I thought you hit a gong. I thought you had a gong. Yeah. No, we can hear that. All I know is out of nowhere, I seen JT, my boy, shoot up out of nowhere in the lane Saturday, and I was like, I didn't know you was freaking here, dude. And barely seen him again. Told him I was like, man, I gotta come by and catch up, and I never did. I was busy and just didn't see him. And damned if he didn't show up and show out and win 2 classes. Looks like he had a good payday, so it's a good weekend for him to show up out of the woodwork. Hadn't seen him at
Yeah, he
XDA in
probably
a
he
while.
probably took he probably took that money on Saturday night and then hit the road Sunday morning back to Ohio. See y'all later.
I'm
I,
sure. I'm sure he did. Man, I don't know if we missed somebody or a class. I'm sorry. Uh, that's all I got, man.
let's
It was a
give some.
good weekend. I felt like my old self a little bit there, Dustin.
I'm
So
gonna pull a Boo Brown, and Boo has done this to me before. He's pulled up on a scooter and look at me and say, "I suck," and that was me
you
each
didn't
weekend.
suck. You didn't suck. You like
It
you
was
said,
just
you
me. Yeah,
that's how you race. You race hard and you're gonna lay down and
yeah. If I'm green, y'all in trouble most of the time. That's
exactly.
just my honest opinion. Like, if I ain't red, you're in trouble. Now, I do miss it. I'm human, and obviously I hit it too hard sometimes too. But I'll work on myself. I'll get better. I'll try to do better next time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the long recap of everything. We feel like we definitely brought some better enthusiasm compared to last week. Sucked. Sorry, it did. Dustin was just getting over everything. My head was filled with 1,000 things dealing with our family stuff. So yeah, we definitely feel like this one's better. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Give away a gift certificate.
Waiting on you,
Is
boss.
it time? All right, let's go. I gotta
If
make sure I
anybody
got.
listen, if they want to know, I'm sharing the Five Friends One Family video right now. I'm curious to see if somebody knows what exactly happened with that deal.
Uh, all right, can you see? So that we being not cheating, you verify.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
I mean,
start at 3. We're up to 81. 3 to 81. You ready? All right, refresh, enter 3, enter 81. And what are we giving away? MPS tonight?
MPS, yeah,
50
MPS gift
bucks to
certificate.
MPS. MPS and Schnitz is like the Walmart and Target. They got everything. Let's see here.
25.
25. I don't know, man. That sounds familiar. Is 20, is this a repeat? Oh my goodness.
It is a
It's a
repeat.
repeat. Man, hey,
Anthony
this ain't
Clarkson.
it ain't rigged. Anthony
Yeah,
Clarkson. He won a $50 MTC on
in
February
February.
6th. All right, man. He won again.
Only subbing for $1. Hey, Anthony, I think you ought to sub up. You ought to bonus up extra money.
Yeah,
Come on,
Anthony,
man.
go online and at least do a $3 subscription this
Yeah,
time.
you got a hundred.
Man, making out. Oh, look, I'm sorry. We're using random.org. It's totally random. And I don't know. Unless y'all let us know that random.org is not good. I don't know. Y'all
It's
let me know
good.
about that.
It's good,
Um,
man. Like, how does
I
that
told
thing
you
know? You've been on
that
this
seemed
computer.
familiar.
You go on your computer like, you know, every other week, and you generate a random number. Like, how's it going to be rigged? Like it.
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's crazy
Hey,
though.
he's just lucky. He's just like you, and you have '06 Light and win.
Oh, screw you. All right, Dustin sees me type it in. We'll let Mr. Anthony know that his so let's see if he's been since February. So let's just say January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. Anthony's probably spent going on $6 for June and he's won $100 in gift
Yeah,
certificates.
you need to go sub up extra. We're gonna update everybody. Go sub up about $3 a month bonus, $100. Shoot, help buy
Oh
me some
man.
parts. I need something.
That's awesome. That's funny though. That is funny. Sorry,
Yeah,
everybody else that subbed more
yeah,
than $1.
yeah.
Anthony's kicking
Yeah,
everybody's
I'm
ass.
looking right now at your spreadsheet. I see a 20, some 15s. I'm like,
And
man,
we got some ballers out here that
yeah,
really are
yeah,
supporting. Yeah, we've got
yeah.
a 20, a 15, a couple
Several.
fives,
Yeah. 20, that was
10s.
another 20. We got them
Um,
good. We got them lifetimes.
Yeah,
Sees
we
a
got a
few of
couple
those.
lifetimes. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, we appreciate everybody that's
Oh
supporting
yeah,
for
yeah.
real.
We
Um,
appreciate your 73 cents after they take fees out of your dollar.
I think it's 62, but yeah.
Oh God! Just now my kid can't have ice cream tomorrow.
Oh man. Um, Last but not least, once again, go run down through our sponsors. We'll maybe do a spotlight next week or something. Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Schnitz Racing, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Night Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wynn, and BMF Motorsports. Appreciate all their support. They're the ones giving these giveaways and prizes and money. They make it happen, and then would you guys support the show with your Patron in 63 cent? No, we're just joking.
No, I'm not
Um,
joking.
yeah,
Up,
Dustin's not.
sub up, extra.
Just
We need it.
Anthony. Anthony's got to go to like
Yeah.
$3, man.
I mean, what would it hurt for everybody to give $2 for $3? Come on, come on.
Appreciate the support, all the feedback, and just really, I know I got a bunch of feedback again this weekend the race, so I'm sure you did too. Just nice to know that people are enjoying the shows and it's getting you through your work days or your drives and all that. It's really cool. And honestly, even if you're patronizing us last week, we appreciate it because it definitely wasn't our best work, but we wanted to give y'all something because we'd missed the week before and life, man. There's a
As
lot
I've
going
said
on. So
before, I've said it many times that sometimes during race season there might be things happen,
yeah.
and um, realistically, um, maybe the anticipation from the two, missing one and the kind of just like the quick pre-race deal to getting this whopping 2 hour job we just now give them, and they, realistically, me and Ben's been in this deal for 2 hours and probably 30 minutes, so we come out here and laid one out for you and give you a good recap. If you wasn't at the race, you kind of know what happened now. A little bit more details of her racing, but
Yeah.
we kind of went over everybody else's too. So for the most part,
And also just an update because I feel like we hyped it up. In case y'all were wondering, Boo Brown with his boober and all his stories, completely donkey stomped Spencer's interview. Did we say that last time?
I
No,
don't
we
know.
did last week. I think we did. Anyways, Boo's all-time leader right now at 635 downloads. Spencer's not bad, 461. So,
Spencer and Gage is neck and neck on that deal.
yeah, Spencer and Gage right there. They're close. So appreciate the continued support. Man, I think that's all I got. What are we gonna do next week? I'm working. I know I got the app. I gotta mess around with the app. We're gonna do a live one soon, but we also might do another
Oh,
interview.
um, my girl Kaylee is loading a video
Oh yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
one of the races right now. If you are not on YouTube, well, go on YouTube and Racing the Lens and subscribe. And there's
Oh,
going
it's
to be
up, man. I
videos.
see it. I see it right now. I
Okay, so
just
there's
pulled it up.
videos. Go on Racing the Lens and subscribe because she needs that. Comment, tell her she's doing a great job. This is her first ones, so it might not be the best, but I'm sure
You're
she'll
the
get
first
better.
thing I see, bro. Was you the first
I
pair down the
literally,
track?
I literally handed her the camera Friday or Thursday and said, "There you go, good luck." And I told her to keep it, and she can record other stuff and maybe post it on her YouTube. So just go to her YouTube, Racing the Lens, subscribe, comment, like her videos. Let's help her. All this stuff is going. We're going to have cool videos to watch. We all got to do our part. Me and Ben's doing all weekend. Now everybody else has got to do their part. Go like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's help her grow this deal so we can get even better stuff in the future.
Man, I just turned this on, and this is exactly what the sportsmen and bracket racers wanted.
You're
And this
welcome.
is it's only going to get better. So, yeah, everything Dustin just said, she's just going to keep uploading videos. This is just the Gamblers race is up right now. It's live. By the time y'all listen to this tomorrow, there might be a couple others. So, as Dustin said, make sure you subscribe to Racing the Lens. We're also gonna put them on the Red Hill and the University of Wynn YouTubes as well. Just kind of have it all there. But subscribe to Kaylee's. This is awesome. So appreciate Dustin coming up with this. Kaylee coming on board. Jason helped out at XDA, and then of course Hard Times and University of Wynn and Red Hill, we all kind of came together to make
MTC
this
helped her
happen.
this race too. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric at MTC stepped up, and man, sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Hey,
Watch this.
if
This is cool as shit.
real quick, yeah, don't be watching it. We're trying
Yeah,
to
I'll
finish the
stop.
show
I'll
here. I
stop.
got things to do, Ben. Um,
Squirrel.
if anybody listening wants to help her, just hit her up. And I think that's it. We've give our certificate away. We've give you guys a 2-hour show. And as Big Chief on Midwest Streetcars YouTube says, okay, bye.
Love y'all. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for everything the last 2 weeks and just showing the support. So we'll see y'all next week. Later.